If you're one of those people that is constantly worrying about the outcome of things in your life and trying so hard to control them, then you need to stop because you're only postponing your own success. What's good, guys? My name is Ethan, and a few years back, I had myself a big problem. Me, this guy. I had let myself go, and I had gotten extremely overweight. Till eventually, I went from being about 200 pounds, give or take like 2 or 3 pounds, to well over 240 to 250 pounds, somewhere in that range. Needless to say, it was time for me to start losing weight. And so I then became obsessed with losing weight and trying to get shredded, trying to get that six pack, trying to put on that muscle, trying to be lean, trying hard to get that model body that I thought I was worthy of. I just got sick of looking in the mirror and seeing a fat dude. But anyway, I bring this up because I learned a very valuable lesson that I need to share with the rest of the world during this process. So, because I became so attached to the outcome of losing weight, I became obsessed with the thought of me being a model or having a model body, like the six pack and all that crap. It actually backfired and resulted in me delaying my success, even when I began to see results. So basically, the attachment was the only thing that was on my mind, all day, every day, whether I was at work or I got invited out with friends or whatever the hell else it was. I couldn't function like a normal human being because all I had on my mind was the goal or the attachment to the goal of losing weight and getting that body that I felt like I deserved. Basically, anytime I was invited out to dinner or a family gathering for a birthday or something like that, I would find myself meticulously trying to figure out what I was going to eat and counting every single calorie before I even fucking ate the thing. I was obsessed with counting calories. I was obsessed with every gram that was on the scale. I was obsessed with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even the air I was breathing, I was worried that might have a couple calories in it. So then I began to do basically what's called crash dieting, where I cut my calories so low and I was so overly obsessed with everything I was eating that I was way under calories for my weight. And so, for instance, say I needed 3,000 calories a day to just maintain my weight and normal daily bodily functions. I would basically cut that in half and end up eating 1,500 calories, maybe 2,000. And that would get annoying for everyone I was hanging around, whether it was my wife or my buddies or whoever. Looking back now, I can see how much of a nuisance I was to not only myself, but those around me. Because sometimes I wouldn't even go when I got invited places because I'm my only thinking was basically well, what am I going to eat? Basically, if there was nothing there that I could eat, I probably wouldn't have gone. And looking back now, I see how messed up that was. And my thinking was so skewed. And my social life began to suffer because of it. My weekly routine basically consisted of going to the gym 5 times out of the whole week. And most of my free time, whenever I was home or even when I was at work, just on my phone on break or whatever, most of my time would consist of me just consuming endless amounts of YouTube videos on fitness and losing weight and basically just getting shredded. Skip ahead about 5 or 6 months, I actually achieved a tremendous amount of weight loss. Undoubtedly though, right? Because I was cutting calories like crazy, so it was bound to happen. But anyway, I was loving every moment of it. I lost about 50 pounds in 6 months, which is a crazy amount of weight to lose that fast. So basically everything seemed to be going well for a while. I was losing the weight. I was enjoying, every moment of it or most of it. The fun parts, the fitting into the clothes that you love, the feeling good about yourself, being able to achieve so much weight loss. All that stuff comes naturally and obviously feels really good for someone like me in that situation. But then things began to take a turn for the worst. I began to obsess with losing weight to the point where I wasn't happy with the amount of weight I had already lost. Even though it was a ton of weight that I had cut off, I basically told myself that I'm still not happy with it and I need to lose even more weight. Even though I look better than I did, I still looked in the mirror and felt like I was still that fat person that I saw 6 months prior. So my attachment, my obsession with the result was ever going, like it never ended. I just kept obsessing with losing more and more and more and more weight. So eventually my body said, F you, and I crashed my metabolism. This meant that my energy levels were extremely low. During the day when I was working, like I had half the energy that I used to. I couldn't sleep well at night. I was tossing and turning. I would get maybe 5 or 6 hours of sleep before work and just feel like complete shit when I was at work. But honestly, the worst part of it all was the fact that I was developing body dysmorphia, meaning pretty much I thought I was still fat when I was looking in the mirror, even though I had cut off felt like 70% of my body. I felt as if I didn't really lose that much weight and I was still looking at the same reflection from months prior. The point is, I was so utterly obsessed with the result and the eventual goal of losing the weight that basically ruined my body, crashed my metabolism. And even though I felt good on the outside, I was pretty unhealthy on the inside, all in the pursuit of being able to look in the mirror and be happy with my reflection. With all of this being said, take my mistakes as a lesson for you in your personal life. For instance, if you have a large goal or something that you want to achieve or are working towards, it could be a hobby, it could be whatever. The lesson here is to detach from the result, and instead of obsessing over how fast you achieve the result, learn to enjoy the process. Rather than worry about how long it's going to take for you to get to your desired destination, just take each step of the way as basically part of the journey. And instead of dreading it, just learn to embrace it and enjoy it and realize that it's all part of the journey anyway. Do you think that when I was in the gym 5 times a week, that I enjoyed being on the treadmill for an hour or two? Hell no. I hated doing cardio. That was the last thing I wanted to do. But obviously, that just came with the package. Because if I wanted to achieve my goal of weight loss and lose as much weight as I did, I had to do those things. The problem is I was so obsessed with the outcome that I overdid it and I burnt out and I harmed myself. One other thing that I forgot to mention happened was after I crashed my metabolism and, I was losing sleep and basically unhealthy for a little while, I actually stopped losing weight. And it really bothered me because I was losing weight like crazy at first. Then all of a sudden one day I step on the scale and realized, oh damn, I haven't lost weight in 2-3 weeks. So what the hell is going on? And obviously it had to do with me crashing my metabolism. So my body was fighting me and was trying to get me back to my natural set point. Because I didn't pace myself and I didn't do it properly, again, I was attached to the outcome. I basically rushed the process and was trying to get through all the shit and get to the reward instead of embracing the journey and taking my time with it and crossing the finish line with all my scars and bruises, so to speak, which were the setbacks and the time it would have taken had I just enjoyed the process. And the same goes for you in your life. If you're trying to learn an instrument or lose weight or maybe, find success in your business or in a financial situation or whatever, it still applies no matter what the circumstance. Enjoy the process, enjoy the ups and enjoy the downs, and just remember that when you pass that finish line, it will all have been well worth it in the end, and you won't regret a thing. And remember, what you put out is what you get back, and the universe will reward you if you are emitting positive vibrations during your process, enjoying it, putting out happiness, even in times of hardship while you're on this journey. The universe is just going to reward you with what you put out. So what ends up happening is you're going to get to your desired destination eventually, and then it's not going to feel as good as you thought it would because you were already enjoying the process to begin with. So once you actually achieve that desired goal, it basically is just the cherry on top because you're already loving and enjoying the process anyway. Who knows, maybe even to your surprise, your result probably won't even be what you thought it would be because it's just going to be a part of the process anyway. So the whole thing would be enjoyable. But again, detach from the outcome and learn to enjoy the entire process. And I promise you, just like I lost that 50, 60 pounds, even though I rushed through and I harmed myself on the way, I still got to my desired destination. Again, I could have avoided a lot of the pain and a lot of the hardships that came with it had I just enjoyed it more. But it doesn't matter what it is, just enjoy the process and detach from the outcome. And I promise you, it's going to be well worth it. Comment down below if you have a similar story or what your goals are currently and if you can relate to the story in any way. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you get something out of it and you can apply it in your own goals and pursuits. Thank you guys so much, and you guys stay divine.